Hey everyone, welcome to the Social 333 podcast. I'm your host, Chris Bentley. Today, my guest is Chuck Steelman. Chuck?
Welcome. I'm so glad to be here.
Awesome, man. Thanks for coming on the show. Tell the audience a little bit about yourself and what you got going on.
Sure. I lived in Dallas for 20 years. I grew up in Mobile, Alabama, and have had a pretty exhilarating career working in fashion and public relations. And I am currently the Chief Customer and Experience Officer for Stanley Korshak here in Dallas, and have a lot of fun making people feel good.
That's awesome, but you're not only just that. You're the most stylish by D Magazine. You're most fashionable man of the year or man of style by Modern Luxury Magazine. You've won a couple different awards, which is really, really cool. Fashion Group International, New York, and then you had some positions at Neiman Marcus, MGM Mirage. So you got
that's right. I mean,
quite a little resume, which is real cool.
It's been a pretty fun ride.
Okay.
I'll say, Neiman Marcus recruited me, which is how I ended up in Dallas. So I lived here. I worked for Neiman Marcus for about 16 years before I was recruited to go work for another company, and then landed at Stanley Korshak. So yes, it's been a lot of fun, and it's been, very rewarding. And moving to Dallas was probably one of the best things I ever did for myself, professionally. It's been a really good experience, and I love Texas. People ask me all the time, where are you from? I was like, well, I'm a Texan, but I grew up in Alabama. So I love living in Dallas, and of course, I'm proud to be a Texan.
It's the same thing with me. Like, I grew up on the East Coast, and then I moved out here, and then, I don't know, just kind of stuck around. People are real nice here.
Well, and Chris, there's nothing like a good margarita in Dallas. No
I know.
matter where you go, it's the
or
best
a steak if you're into that, or like whatever you're into. It's definitely different.
Yes.
I can't really explain it to like other people. It's like, if I were to compare apples to apples, oranges to oranges, it's totally different. I think it's a whole 180 different from the East Coast. Talk a little bit about, because I'm looking at all of the people that you've worked with. Like, talk to me about just kind of how your career kind of lifted off. I mean, I know that you started out obviously not winning all those awards right out the gate, but like kind of talk about your entrepreneurial business, or just kind of how you ended up where you're at today.
Well, when I was in high school, I was chosen to be on a team board of a department store in Mobile, Alabama.
Wow.
And that really exposed me to the fashion industry. Little did I know that my career would kind of turn into working in fashion and public relations, but that's the path that I took. And it was such a great experience for me as a teenager to learn and watch the fashion director work on producing big fashion events, and also working in the community. And I learned so much from the fashion director at that time. And then I went to college in Alabama. So between semesters, sometimes one semester I'd work for her, part-time, or in the summers I would always work. And it kind of launched the idea of me pursuing a career in fashion. So that really is how I got my start. And I've been doing fashion events and public relations in the retail arena for my entire career. So it's been a lot of fun. And you're right, I have been able to meet so many people and work with so many people, from top designers to fun celebrities and people who are very influential. So it's been a really great ride.
Tell me some cool stories, because it's always interesting when you meet a celebrity, somebody maybe that like you've always wanted to meet, maybe like you kind of geeked out about it. Like, tell me some stories about some people that you've met. You can withhold names if you want, but tell me some stuff that you've run into, because I've met some really affluent people, or people that I've always looked up to. And then sometimes like you get like that feeling where you're just like, man, like I wish this person was cooler. Or maybe you catch them and they're like at a bad day or something like that, or they're just like really stressed out. Or then the opposite, like you meet somebody that you would have never even thought you'd like, and then all of a sudden you're like, wow, like that person's really cool. Like, and you end up like hanging out with them for like hours, right?
Yeah, I guess probably the most famous person that I worked with was, I worked with the Kardashians. Through Kendall and Kylie had a brand, and then cool. Their brother Rob Kardashian had a sock brand that we sold at Neiman Marcus, and so we did events with him and Chris, and all the sisters would come. But I guess maybe probably the most famous two people that come to mind is Jennifer Lopez and Lil Wayne. My friends had to remind me that his name is not Little Wayne, it's Lil Wayne. But they're working with him. He was great, easy to work with. We worked with him in 2 different locations in California and Florida. And then with J-Lo, she had created a line of shoes with Giuseppe Zanotti, which was a brand that Neiman Marcus sold. And we launched her collection in the Beverly Hills Neiman Marcus store. And she was very easy to work with. She was so gracious. She wanted to meet every client. Of course, it was impossible because there were hundreds of people there, but she was very easy to work with. Didn't even have a rider. So it was so easy that her assistant was like, oh, she'll just have whatever the guests are having. It was,
Wow.
so she was really fun to work with. And she's beautiful and she's talented, and people had a lot of fun meeting her. And the team in the Beverly Hills Neiman Marcus store did an excellent job at creating these unbelievable windows along Wilshire Boulevard that was in celebration of Jennifer's career and, of course, the launch of these shoes with Giuseppe Zanotti. And she was late, but, it was kind of a thing that
Right.
we dealt with her being a little bit late to the event. But it was very fun, and the clients did not mind waiting on her. And obviously there was a party, so everybody had a good time.
Yeah, I bet like the client experience has to be like through the roof, or a customer experience, because it's like you get to meet the person that's you're buying their shoes. It's somebody obviously that they probably waited in line, or they got some sort of like incentive to get out there to go do it, which I think is really really cool.
Yeah, retail has changed so much, and that's one of the reasons that the fact that retail is always changing and the fashion industry is always changes is one of the reasons why I like working in this field, because the trends are changing all the time, every season, and then the way people shop changes, and whatever's going on in the world, it affects the way people shop, it affects the way designers design, it affects the way stores operate. So it's fun to always be able to be innovative and come up with things that are going to drive clients into a store or make them feel special. And so right now, what we're seeing, the big trend is experiential marketing. It really is all about what you can offer an affluent client that they cannot buy, because clients that are very affluent, that they can buy whatever they can buy the store, literally.
Right.
So it's like, what do you do for them to build loyalty between the sales associate and the store and the client? How do you keep them shopping with you, because there's so much competition? And when I started in this business in the early 90s, online didn't exist. So now we have to compete with retailers that are shopping online, and it's very exciting to see experiential marketing kind of move ahead, and we look for ways that we can offer something to the client, provide access to the client that they can't get anywhere but through us at Stanley Korshak. And at Neiman Marcus, I started a VIP experiential program for our VIP clients, and then that's one of the reasons why Stanley Korshak recruited me to come work for them, is to be able to do these VIP experiences. And we take clients to Fashion Week. We take clients to the designers' homes. We've taken clients to Naples, Italy, where they tour the factory where all the garments are made with Keton. And, when clients see how the merchandise is created and designed, it really allows them the opportunity to understand and have a taste of what it's like to be in the fashion world for a moment. And it makes them appreciate their garments even more.
Yeah, it's like a whole experience.
Yeah, it is. And it's also like, not just the, these experiences, also like, what can I do for a client in a store that they can't do online? Because, yeah, you can go shop online. And to me, online shopping is about convenience. Can I click a button and it show up on my doorstep the next day or that same day? So in my role, I look at ways of, why do I want to make someone get dressed, get in their car, drive across town, and come into the store? And so we also look at ways that we can do things to make the customer feel special and do in-store experiences as well. And you can meet a designer via Zoom, but you can't. There's a different type of feeling that you get when you have the opportunity to shake the hand of a designer, and the designer is actually bringing you merchandise that he or she designed and created into the fitting room with you and style you. And then, of course, all the other layers of having champagne with your best friend, and all of those types of things just kind of go along with an in-store experience.
I'm sure there's some networking as well, because you end up getting a lot of these like high profile individuals into a room. They're all looking to do the same thing or purchase the same thing. So it's like they're all in the same experience. So they're like, wow, like, so who are you? Like before you know it, like you're going to have different groups break off and talk and stuff like that?
No, absolutely. I mean, I remember many times taking clients to Paris Fashion Week from different cities, and the ladies would get together. We'd have a cocktail party or dinner or something to welcome them to Paris Fashion Week, and they would meet each other. And by the end of the week, they were best friends. So it does definitely allow the opportunity for people to meet other people, and people enjoy that.
Absolutely. Talk a little bit about your nonprofit work. I know that you have 13 nonprofit boards that you're on in 4 different states. Like, that's got to keep you busy.
Yeah, I joke and say I've retired from charity because I'm not serving on any boards, but
Okay.
I have served on 13 nonprofit boards in 4 different states, and it's been very rewarding. I've been very fortunate to be able to make an impact on a variety of different organizations, from health related organizations to organizations that benefit children, and of course the arts, because I'm a big component of the arts, and it's been very rewarding to be able to do that. And at Stanley Korshak, we are involved in the community in a lot of different ways. From we do a lot of partnerships with the area schools, ESD, Highland Park High School, all the elementary schools. Most of their moms love to shop in our store, so we like to support them when they're chairing their gala, raising money for their schools. The Compass School is a new school in town that we proudly support. And then, of course, we have a partnership with the Dallas Symphony Orchestra, with Crystal Charity, with the Dallas Zoo. So we could go on and on about all the different organizations that we host. The Yellow Rose Gala is another important charity event here in town that raises money for MS. And Cherie Wilson, who is a pretty famous actress, she was on Dallas and Walker, Texas Ranger. She helped found that organization, and
Wow.
we support her. And she's a big client and has been for years. But she got us involved in that, and that's been a rewarding experience as well.
I see you judged Miss America or Miss Georgia.
Yeah, I one of the organizations I've been involved with was the Miss America organization, and I got involved in college because my friends were competing for Miss Alabama, and
Oh, wow.
it was kind of fun to see the scholarships, because most people don't understand that Miss America is not just what you see on television, where a girl walks out in an evening gown and gets a crown. It's the largest scholarship provider for women in the entire world, and in the 70s and 80s, women didn't have any other options for scholarships as much as were available for men. And now it's a little different. There's scholarship opportunities for women almost as equally as for the men. But yeah, I've had the opportunity. I've been a longtime volunteer with the organization in a variety of different ways for about 25 years. And over the past 4 years, I've been able to judge 4 Miss America state programs, Georgia recently, which was very fun to meet 53 amazing girls. And, what's always fun is when you meet them, most of them are in law school. They're studying to be a doctor, and then they're also required by the Miss America organization to have a community service initiative. So the things that they're able to achieve through their volunteer work is pretty impressive. And anyway, I've been able to also judge Miss New York and Miss Alabama and Miss South Carolina as well. So I only do one once a year because it takes a lot of time, and it's also takes a lot of energy to
I
go and
bet.
do. But it's also fun because through the organization, I've also met people from all across the country, and so it's a really great organization. And I when people always come to me and they have a joke about Miss America or pageants in general, I'm like, listen, I'm not involved in pageants. I'm only involved with Miss America, and it's 104 years old. So it's been around a long time, and they have a strong heritage of it providing opportunities for so many people.
Tell me a little bit about what you're doing right now in terms of fashion. I know fall's coming around here shortly. I'm still stuck in summer because I like summer months. But tell me a little bit about what's going on with fashion going into the summer, and who you're working with, kind of some of the designers, stuff
Of
like that.
course. Yeah. And we're right now we spend a lot of time preparing for the fall season, because in the fashion world, once school goes back into session, our business really starts taking off. And so really the end of August through Christmas, we have things going on at Stanley Korshak every single weekend, and we're excited about hosting a jewelry designer, Kumi. She is based in South Florida, New York. She's of Indian descent. She and her family have an incredible business, beautiful jewels. And we also have Joseph Altazura coming, who's a pretty famous designer in the designer world. And then we also have Christian Jewel Nilsson of Activist, and Jonathan Simkai, who will be coming in the contemporary side for women. And we're also excited to host Laura Slatkin of Nest. She creates a line of candles and home fragrances, and she's a lot of fun, and we're very excited to have her. And we also have Donald Robertson, an artist that is originally relocated. I mean, originally he was from Canada, but he's lived in New York and LA and had a pretty impressive career. He moved to Dallas during COVID, and we launched his second book for him.
Oh,
And
wow.
we have a really good relationship with him. So we have something fun that I can't talk about yet, but in October we have something really cool with Donald Robertson. So we're excited to welcome him back to Stanley Korshak. So a lot of stuff going on. And, Stanley Korshak was recently, I know many of your viewers have probably heard that Stanley Korshak merged with another company called the Mitchells, and we have a brand new website, so go check it out. And there's a lot of new technologies that have been implemented by this merger, and we're very excited about the future of Stanley Korshak. And it's 40 years old in Dallas in 2025.
Wow.
The brand is over 100 years old, and so we're really excited about the future of the store.
Nice. Chuck, if somebody wanted to reach out to you, get some more information, whether it be on the fashion side, whether it be on, hosting maybe some VIP stuff or getting involved with, as a VIP, like how does somebody find you?
Well, pretty much I'm always in the store, but you can find me on Instagram at my name, Chuck Steelman. You can call the store and they certainly can track me down. But we're always happy to talk to clients about taking them and hosting them at New York Fashion Week or Paris Fashion Week or Milan Fashion Week, or even doing something even greater by taking them to Europe to go to the designer's home for dinner with the designer and to be able to meet and shop and have an experience that you can't get anywhere else. And we really take pride in the fact that our goal at Stanley Korshak, we're not just a retailer. We're not just another store. We look at ways that we can offer an experience to the clients, but also we want to make the client feel good.
Nice. Well, Chuck, I appreciate you coming on the show.
Thanks so much.
It's been great. And I look forward to seeing some more of your stuff on Instagram.
Great. Well, I hope to see you at Stanley Korshak getting a new suit.
Absolutely. Chuck, thank you.
Thanks so much.